Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Sovereign, and this is from writer-director Christian Swagel, and this film focuses on a father and son, played by Nick Offerman and Jacob Tremblay, who are sovereign citizens, a group of anti-government extremists, and it's their journey. It's the journey of this young man, played by Tremblay, being mentored by his father down this very specific path, and with Dennis Quaid, who is a sheriff, along with his son, played by Thomas Mann, who is reflective in this father-son dynamic that is the key piece to Swagel's film. And the synopsis on IMDb gives away a lot and really focuses more on the last 20 minutes of this film, because I'll say it now, Sovereign is not an easy film. It is a tragedy. And this film leads up to some very brutal and shocking moments in terms of the consequences of such a way of life that Nick Offerman has mostly pushed on his son. And we see how far this young man is pushed, where he gets a lifeline in the form of Dennis Quaid's character, who's trying to help pull him out. You have him interacting with this young woman who helps him realize you have other options here. And you have these little lifelines, and will Tremblay's character, Joe, pull out of this isolated, very specific way of life. And we have a front seat view of how this journey of Joe and his father Jerry, starts off with, they seem very pleased with the way that this perspective of I don't need documentation, I don't need a driver's license, my money is my money, the government can't take this from me, I'm a sovereign citizen of a state, blah 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 blah, all of these very specific perspectives on this anti-government ideology that they're living through. And you see how it complicates their lives, and it slowly becomes more and more dangerous as we see confrontations with police begin to happen. And that's where the story starts opening up to Joe having these outs, these other people coming into his life and giving him another perspective. Because his father is very controlling, and Nick Offerman gives such an intense, fully committed performance to this role, and he fully embodies, this is Ron Swanson if he went fully off any kind of grid at all related to the government. And there's something dangerous and intense about him. I think Tremblay gives a very empathetic performance, and we have to see his character Joe reckon with some unfortunate choices that he makes in the face of adversity. We get to see where I feel like the film could have committed more to this more parallel story with Dennis Quaid and Thomas Mann, because you only get bits of their story, and that parallel story of father-son connection is not as strong, and the film really relies upon that towards the end. I feel like they could have spent more time, but with the time we do have, I think Quaid especially gives a strong performance that helps us see, he mentored his son going into the police force, and where that leads him, this collision course between this anti-authority group of people clashing with, the authority, and how violent this can get. And I appreciate that Swagel does not pull punches in terms of showing how brutal and violent the resolution of such a situation and a series of choices can be. And at the end of this film, you take a step back and really think about, was this worth it? Is this life worth it to challenge and put your child through this? And sure, this has a lot of messaging and ideas about this anti-government perspective, but this really is about a father and son and the paths we bring our children on and the standards that we set for them, and them trying to seek out a different path. And not being able to let go. And I think this film has a lot going for it. It's very intense, very well put together by Swigel, and the performances are excellent and really elevate this experience to something worthwhile. But those are my thoughts on Sovereign. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland Reviewer.